Hey, this is John Lepkowski of Plutopia Productions. We believe that people want to have cool, immersive, stimulating experiences, and that they want to get a hopeful and inspiring vision of the future through those experiences. 4 years ago, Derek Woodgate and I started talking about creating a think tank that would produce events instead of white papers. And through that, we have developed, through our events at South by Southwest Interactive and Maker Faire, a real grasp of the logistics required to do that. We've produced events at major scale, and we've also created some minor scale events. So now we've learned what we need to know to have an events production company and a think tank. And we're ready to take the next step forward by turning it into a practicing company that is unlike any that you've ever seen before. It's kind of a think tank, it's kind of an events production company, but it's really much more than that. In order to get to the next level, we need some funding. So that's why we're making this application.
My name is Derek Woodgate. I'm the Chief Creative Officer of Plutopia Productions Incorporated. I'm one of the founders, along with John Lepkowski. Plutopia basically grew out of years of salons that John and I used to sort of run, actually, at my house in Austin, Texas. We began by having futures-focused salons with guest speakers, and as a practicing futurist and author on the future, I was able to get colleagues and friends to be part of all this. And then we also separately had these cultural salons where, again, we looked at the future of culture, the future of the arts and entertainment. And we decided that it would be a great idea to begin to sort of put these together. And the last sort of year of salons were actually a combination of the future and entertainment. And this actually provided the substrate for the first event that we put on in 2007 at Makers Faire, where we created a whole display and interactive event around the home of the future. And we looked at it from a variety of angles, from the responsive home to the reconfigurable home to the immersive home and so on. And this was very, very well attended and very successful. There was a lot of interactive technologies there, and we realized that we had a pretty unique approach to creating what I would call experiential events, which were very participative and where we could bring in new emerging technologies and demonstrate them with a view particularly to showing how the future was emerging and growing in a very positive way. Now, to me personally, this is probably one of the most critical missions of Plutopia Productions, because as a futurist, I'm extremely aware today that the media at large, whether it be through movies or the news and whatever, is generally speaking demonstrating that the future is likely to be rather negative, and certainly there is a general sort of opinion amongst the population at large, and we see that through a lot of the research that's been conducted, both external research to me and research that we do within the Futures Lab, that there is a real negative concern and a concern for the future, particularly for the children, our children and our grandchildren, and the thought that the future is likely to be something absolutely unique. And that is very central to our events. Also central to everything we do is the issue of sustainability. We endeavor and have succeeded very much so in ensuring that we are very energy efficient, that we minimize energy usage at our events, we measure that, and also in terms of waste and garbage and everything else, we ensure that we use metrics to measure that as well. Our main reason for looking for a small amount of funding to help Plutopia Productions Inc. to move to the next level is simply because we feel like we would like to invest and develop new types of events, unique events, events that are very future focused and will be even more dynamic and full of impact in generating these positive thoughts about the future, as well as actually creating some new applications from exciting technologies that we find that will enhance even more and create even greater sense of immersion and participation and interaction. So that's the reason why we're looking for a small amount of funding. It is very much about trying to ensure that we create for our audiences, the public at large, and make a very strong point of the fact that we believe the future is going to be extremely positive, and helping our audiences to think along those lines and to generate for themselves much more of a positive anticipation towards the future.